Hey guys, welcome back to the Anchor of the Week. I'm Sadie.
I'm Courtney.
And we are sitting here with some friends. We want to invite you into the conversation. These are conversations that you just may not have with your friends, but we're opening a space for you.
Exactly. We're here for those conversations that maybe are a little bit awkward to talk about for so many different reasons.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a really big setup for Jetson and Josiah today.
Yep. But here they are.
Yeah, here we go. We have Jetson.
Yes. Okay, you met Jetson last week.
Yeah.
When we were filming outside in the beautiful location. Hoped you enjoyed that conversation. Did you enjoy the conversation, Jetson?
Yeah.
Do you remember the conversation?
Imagine he said no.
He's like, no, that was actually the worst day of my life.
I have no idea what we talked about. I'm sorry, but
Just blacked out the whole time.
Honestly, can we also just mention that? Like how often when you're filming literally anything, you just black out?
Honestly, yeah.
I don't remember like any episodes of the podcast ever.
And that's why we document them. That's why we can go back and go, oh yeah, we did have that conversation. But then we also want to introduce or reintroduce, because Josiah has been on the podcast before.
If you are, how many times?
If you're an
OG fan. I say that all the dang time, and I'm really upset about it. But a couple years ago, you were on the podcast.
Yep.
Yeah. Back when we were hanging up a curtain and filming in a church creche.
Yeah. I wasn't here
Where
for that.
was that?
Cali.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. I remember watching the
really?
episode, though, and I was like, where is this?
No, you were like, wow, one day.
Yeah, that was it.
gonna be
That
me.
was the episode where I was like, I'm going to be on that podcast.
Oh, that's crazy.
Were you still in the States when that happened?
I was, I was back home. Because Alec was on that episode.
No, he's been on twice then. Because that was at
I just remember the Alec, Josiah,
Sammy
Perry episode.
That was at Perry's
about
house.
Social media.
Oh. Yeah, because we used to film every once in a while there.
That was way back, yeah.
No
Yeah,
idea.
but then we had that one episode with Zach about accepting cookies.
Yeah,
Oh.
internet something.
Yeah.
We were like, he's our
cookies.
friend.
Josiah knows this stuff.
Okay, that's perfect segue to what we're talking about today. Because, okay, we all have those friends, right, where I'm like, okay, none of us are experts in, well, anything really.
Yeah.
But you always have that one friend that's just a bit more interested in something. That's what Josiah is for us in anything like.
That's me. Bit more interested. Just a bit.
Just a bit.
Like, okay, but you just told me not to call you an expert before we started filming.
Yeah, because I'm not.
He's just interested.
I'm just a little bit more interested.
You're quite knowledgeable.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, on anything sort of tech.
Yeah, it works with my brain. My brain
Yeah.
just clicks with it.
Privacy.
Yes.
As like your
Yeah.
brain clicks with how social medias work, mine clicks with everything
Yeah.
on the internet. So yeah.
I really feel like I'm not going to contribute a lot to the conversation today, but I'm here to.
Sadie represents the people.
I do represent the people. I'm just listening in, just here. But yeah, no, I'm excited genuinely, because the main topic, from what I understand, that we wanted to start with was data and data storage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you have something to say on it, Courtney.
Well, I can just say what blew my mind that I brought up with you the one day, because I saw a TikTok, and yeah, that's where we get our information. We just all see some TikTok, but it was talking about how to run AI, they need to have more physical data centers, and they're buying up land and they're using water to run AI. And I was like, it kind of blew my mind, because I was like, wait, this is taking actual physical space somewhere. The stuff that I thought, it's just in the air, working on my phone. It actually takes physical space. So it's these big tech companies are basically buying up land to keep improving technology that a lot of us are really excited about and sometimes use all the time. But it's just it was just a weird concept. It's we're eating away land and resources to run something that's completely digital. And it's it blew my mind. It kind of freaked me out, because then I just kind of spiraled into the future of what that would look like,
Yeah. So we sat there on the train and we were going over this, and we were like, this is actually a great podcast topic. They were like, call Josiah. He knows.
Yeah.
Right? But I think this is a huge thing, right? And we were talking about it, chatting as we were setting up. And it's the whole idea of nobody ever talks about this. No. And in fact, if you came to me oh, Courtney, how much space is your data taking up? I'd be like, I don't care. I don't know. I use the cloud.
You know, it, yeah.
But this is the thing, is that like the cloud is not the cloud. It's not in the air. You know what I mean? And so like, as far as I understand, big pivot to Josiah, like computers need to store this data.
Yeah, it's data centers.
Can you explain to us what a data center is?
Just massive, usually massive warehouses when it comes to something like Apple or Amazon or IBM, Windows, these big companies, they just have massive warehouses of servers, these server racks that are probably 6 foot tall, probably bigger, of just these massive racks of computers that are just servers that are holding information. So anytime you are to understand, everything is incorporated with this. So if when you log on to Instagram, it's sending an authorization to the server that's holding all your information, the Instagram server, wherever it is globally. And then that sends an authorization back that, yes, your password is correct on what's on the server. And then it lets you access the information that's on that server there. So that's basically what it all is. So.
Even though it's my information.
No, it's not your information.
It's not my information. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. No.
Sorry. Yeah. People question. That was just a people question.
That was a question for the people.
You think it's yours.
It's your information that you're
not.
willingly giving up with all your terms and conditions that you've agreed to. So, yeah.
Yeah, the obstacles to like...
Get what I want.
Oh, it's what we'll give into for convenience is what at the end of the day. So
okay, this is making me think about though like old school. I mean, yes, Eagle Eye, good movie. Eagle Eye. Shia LaBeouf.
I saw that on my
I've never seen
streaming service.
I've never heard of it.
It's great. Anyway, but like it's making me think of old school computers, right? Because like OG computers that were created that was super ahead of its time was like these big. Like a room, you know, that's just full of servers, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's so amazing." So really, we haven't moved on from that. We've just
So when you take off the UI or the user experience, that is what we look at. So on your phone right there, we see a or whoever wants to show a phone, like there's a timer there, or there's your user experience there. Behind that is code, is what is on the back end, which is on the server that is. Or on the code inside your phone for the board or for the home screen, for instance. That's not on the server. That's on your phone. So there is code that's behind that's telling the front end what you're seeing, what to show you. And so it's the same way with everything. There's a back end. There's a server that has the information that just pushes it out, and then the front end translates it to like what you're seeing. So it's all still what that idea is of just an old computer. It's just a lot more grown up than what it is now. There's a lot more layers, a lot more to it. So yeah.
So not to spiral this early in the episode, but like nothing is ever as it seems.
No, I was literally
like we're just all looking at facades constantly.
Because I was literally just thinking that because you also there's that whole idea of what's it called when you are seeing something but there's hidden messaging in it. You know, like whether it's like a commercial or something, and it's just like
subliminal
come with me. Subliminal messaging, yeah. So I'm like, my brain is also thinking all of this coding that's happening behind what's being presented to me could just be sending me subliminal messages without even realizing it.
Fun, like tail off that. Yes. So an artist that.
So
yes, exactly.
An artist that I like, John Bellion. He recently posted a teaser to his new song that he just released. And in this website, people went into the HTML code, which is what websites usually are built off of.
Yeah.
And in it had like this little code hidden into it of when the website was gonna spit out an error that was saying a specific date. So people are like, oh man, like the song's gonna drop on this date, and it did end up dropping on that date. Whoa. So like you can put messages in the code that don't necessarily show on the outside. So there's tons of, it's really cool. But
in that case though, like you have to be someone who's looking for that though, right?
Yeah.
And I think, ding, ding, ding right there is like the key. You have to be someone that's looking for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to storage warehouses before I completely spiral.
Yeah.
Okay, because we have this whole thing, right? And like we have had the episode with you about like our privacy and like that nothing online is actually ours and all of that. But then we have like the actual real life, real tangible problem of like, okay, so I'm thinking if there's a warehouse of computers, I know how much energy it takes to charge my phone.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a lot, right?
Yeah.
So if I am now walking into what I can only imagine is probably the hottest building on the planet because you've got like a cajillion
they're water cooled, so it's actually usually not that hot.
Oh, water cooled.
But yes. Just to yeah, it's not like a horrid place.
Okay, yeah. Cool. Because in my brain, I'm sweating.
No,
when I'm there.
It's like a boiler room.
Exactly. But it's like, how much energy would that take? Because how many like people's information would one warehouse or all these servers process?
Yeah,
like a lot, right?
And with what we were just talking about earlier, before we started recording, was the whole thing of Amazon and Google. I think it was Google. Was the other company that's buying. Well, yeah, they're looking into nuclear energy, and they're buying these like this is not the right word, but build-a-block nuclear energy plants, where they're like smaller compartment version of big nuclear plants to power all of that. Because yeah, it's a lot of power, it's a lot of water, it's a lot of energy. So
wow.
Yeah.
So it's killing our planet.
But also, it's just like. They're going a lot of like they could like downsize and just like not hold on to all our information forever, but they're like going to lengths just to keep it.
Wow.
Because that's,
you know, like
that's
we could
value,
we could practically downsize and just like dump people's information after a while. But no, they're like, we need to scale up, we need to build bigger just to hold it all. Like,
but why do they hold on to our information? Like, because they're selling it, right?
It's probably the number one business that's not like called a industry, but it is the industry of information. So all that information is what they're harvesting off of you. And it's like, it's not something that's a conspiracy theory. You can look it up. These companies have shadow profiles on you. So if you don't log into Facebook, but you access the Facebook on your browser, you log into it, or you don't log into it, but you use it and you look at something, there's cookies that are going to follow you from that, unless you make your browser delete the cookies.
Yeah.
They're going to follow you and see what you're doing on your browser to a certain extent. You know, they don't see everything you're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're going to build a little profile about you. They're like, this is user XYZ, blah, 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 blah. Even though they don't know your name yet, they're going to try to find your name and then just start.
Dots.
Yeah. It's usually for advertisements. Like, these big companies aren't malicious to the extent where they're trying to like harvest you.
Right.
But they're going to sell and try to sell your information to some advertisement company to make money. And then that company is going to, you have this email. How did this person get this email address on my, it's because it's being sold. So, yeah.
Okay. So then now here comes the question of like, why should I care? Because it's like, yeah, we've talked about this, right? Of like, Courtney said, earlier, like ignorance is bliss, sometimes. And especially with this, I'm like, okay, they're taking my information. Whoa, that's kind of scary. They're selling it. Ooh, eek. But if it's just from this place of advertisers making money, wanting to make me more aware of their product or whatever, okay? Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, okay.
Like,
sure. Like,
I can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
Well,
and it's not like they're harvesting me. So I'm like, oh.
Yet.
Well, you do need to think about the more information you put out there, the more it's accessible to more than just them. So yeah, Google might have all your information. What if someone hacks Google? Like our social security numbers in the US, you guys both Canadians, there was over 200 million that were breached and leaked on the dark web recently. Mm-hmm. So that's 2/3 of the US basically, well, probably like half now of the US whose information is just leaked to their socials. One of the most wanted to be protected parts of our identity. Yeah. It's just out there now. So now it's not a matter of, your bank having your socials. It's a matter of John, who's this hacker that wants to sell it to Russia for maybe this is a hypothetical, maybe this Russian person then wants to use your identity, open a bunch of credit cards and do something malicious in the US. Now that's a possibility because your information is out there. So instead of saying like we need to care about not using all these services, just be more aware of how much of your identity you're putting out there. Because one day something bad could happen. It might not be Instagram doing it. It might be someone that hacks Instagram or hacks something where you put your information and now has all of it. So
us as people who don't know how to like navigate like the digital space necessarily, like for me a solution is like, okay, how can we actually like set boundaries to what we do have online and what we like even live online and what we like live offline, especially like if AI is going to make it so much quicker and more interactive and like efficient. Even it's going to become like even easier and easier. And like, I don't know, this is a second pointer question, but like it's almost just like I feel like I can see us as people going like two ways of either like there being a movement of people trying to go like seriously go offline or just like straight into it. And like I can see almost like a divide between like two different worlds at some point.
It's giving Hunger Games.
You know, like, because you could go like deep into like just like living your life online, or you could just like be like, I don't trust that, or like I'm trying to live off that.
Because the like you can't, maybe you can, I don't know, but it would take the entire or most of the modern civilization to boycott technology for anything to actually productive work.
No, and I don't think it's realistic. So it's like, how do you have good boundaries with it?
Yeah.
Or like, where do we draw good lines?
And if this is where we're moving.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, I mean, one of the like data security guides is just compartmentalize your life. So whenever you're, which is something probably most people are terrible at. So you open up your
in general,
True,
yes.
yeah.
Sorry, you open up your browser and you've logged into your bank account on this browser. You've logged into your Facebook on this browser. You've logged into this sketchy website that said you'd get 6 free wines for the price of £2.
Well,
just sign up, you know, like.
I'm sorry. Are they selling my data to you?
Yeah.
and you're just doing that. You're doing that all on the same thing. So just separate stuff. So maybe have 2 emails. Have one email that's for you when you're contacting people, for instance, like people you trust. Yeah. Then have another email where you sign up for all the wine things. You sign up for social media, like sign up for this, you know, free trial for this thing. Like just separate it a bit. So then there's a buffer between all of your crucial information, but you don't have to sacrifice being able to get all those fun things that come with the cool new tech. Just separate stuff.
So what if you've had the same email for 15 years?
I was about to be like,
what are those, hypothetically, what are those people do?
Just make a new email and then just start from there on. Just doing, you can't do anything about the past.
Like a dump email.
Hey, just in life in general, man.
You can't do
just start
past.
now. Because if you tell yourself, oh, I've already done this for so long, doesn't matter. Just start trying to do it now and then,
Okay, for example, with the 2 emails, would you still need to have 2 different, like a Gmail and then a Yahoo email? Because if I have 2 Gmail accounts,
Yahoo,
Google is still gonna. Hey, I had a Yahoo account at one point. I also had an MSN.
Ooh, Hotmail.
Yeah, Hotmail. Anyway, but like if you have 2 Gmails, can't Google still like connect the 2 and still do its thing that way, or
like? It's called threat modeling. It's something that you probably don't have to think about
I
much.
love all these terms.
But like Snowden, if people will know who Edward Snowden is if you look into him, but the whistleblower for the NSA, he talks, well, not just him, but a lot of people talk about threat model. So what are you trying to protect yourself from? Is it the government or not? Are you scared of the government? Then if it's not the government, then whatever. Sign up for 2 Gmails. But then just having those 2 Gmails separated, like, all of Facebook and Instagram and Gmail, they'll probably all see that you're the same person. That doesn't matter. But if you keep all of the scammy, sketchy websites on this email, they won't just know that this other email is you because those are separated. And like the Google, it's just another email in their hardware somewhere. So yeah.
So it's like, don't put all your information eggs in one basket.
Yeah, and just who are you trying to protect yourself from? If you're not afraid of the government and Gmail, use 2 Gmails. It doesn't matter. But there's tons more providers that are free that are good. So it's silly to just use Gmail.
What's your favorite?
Proton Mail is the most popular for the private.
I have one of those.
Yeah, private respecting ones.
Proton Mills.
Yeah,
Proton
Mail.
Mail.
Proton
Mail.
Mills.
I was like Courtney Madison Mills.
And they're based in Switzerland,
Sorry.
which has
their data.
which has good data security laws. Okay. So and then there's Tutanota. There's a bunch of them that are free and give you storage for free, but they encrypt and they aren't selling it and all those things. So
Interesting.
Wow. And you mentioned something, I don't know if this is something you wanted to get into, but it was just very fascinating. Literally as we were setting up, you were like, oh, it's the 3-2-1 model.
Yeah, so that's on backing up your information.
Right.
But it's not really in hand with what we're talking about now, but
because I was like, that's just cool.
It's
I missed that part of the conversation.
If
you were doing work.
Yeah. I was setting up. No, I'm kidding.
Like if you want to keep your phone, for instance, you want to back it up you want to have 3 copies of it backed up. One that's off site, so you have it on a hard drive backed up somewhere. And then you have one on a different medium, so one on like maybe your computer. You back it up on your computer. and then have one cloud, because Apple does the cloud backup, one cloud backup. So then you have 3 on 2 different mediums at least. So then your data is backed up. So if something happens to your phone, it's corrupted, you still have your phone backed up over there. Or if that gets corrupted on your computer, okay, you still have the hard drive. So, but that's not really what we're talking about. So,
okay, cool.
But
it sounded cool.
Just more protection. Yeah, more backup, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's just making sure you don't lose your phone.
Yeah, which is
noted.
Which is also important.
But something that's also interesting with the whole like information is how like AI is almost like taking our information to like use it as its brain almost, and it's like that's just creepy. It's a bit like whoa.
Yeah,
so it's like
Instagram. Yeah, it's taking all of your posts and stuff, and it's using it to train its
exactly
AI. Yeah.
To do what?
Just train the AI. So it's it's giving it more information. Like AI is not actually intelligent. It's
just
not there yet.
Taking what
which
we're
would be
giving it.
Cool,
Wow.
but it's not there yet.
Yeah.
It's just a massive computer that's super fast at deciding things. So it's just getting more information to train on different ways to answer. How do people
interact,
answer?
yeah.
To just learn how to respond quicker and more natural with the best answers. So.
And with AI getting like bigger, like is that going to take up more physical space as well? Like what's that like?
Yeah, more space, more water, more energy.
Like, why can't AI just use the space that's already big? You know what I mean? Like, use the data that's already there.
It's all about money.
Yeah, you're right.
Because
Yeah.
the tech
Power.
guys are excited and they're just
They want
I
to
mean,
keep
they're
going.
gonna keep growing things.
Our food's like the least nutrient it has ever been historically right now. But our computers are super cool and taking up the most space, and ultra purified
crazy,
water
actually.
to make these chips for all these devices. Like the priority's on technology, not people anymore.
Yeah.
That's actually crazy. Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I know this is just like not conspiracy theory, but like I sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I hate the idea of Jess. Who's Jess?
Jess.
Sorry,
Hater.
Jess.
But I hate the idea of Jeff Bezos starting a nuclear plant.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
At the end of the day, that's what it is.
And that is all to get power to run these computers.
I think nuclear power is cool. So I don't understand this whole situation yet. But nuclear power is way cleaner than fossil fuels and batteries and
But it's
stuff.
also
There's
more
just been too many
dangerous.
more.
Right?
There's been incidents.
Yeah, there's been incident. I think I don't know if it's Bezos or Google that are looking to like buy the one that had like the major
I think it was
catastrophic event.
Microsoft.
It might have been Microsoft actually.
Yeah.
So okay, I thought I had, because I was using AI the other day, to like help write out a message to like a Facebook group, and I like used information I had and like, hey, can you like, what if you? I just wanted to see if it would help me write a nice message, and it just kept looking way too formal and like too efficient. And I'm like, I'm not trying to make a business proposal here. I'm trying to just like reach out to people, trying to like connect. And at that point, I should have just made it like myself. But like, I think sometimes like the thought that like comes to my mind is like, what's gonna make us so dependent on things like AI and technology is just like our obsession with like almost like peak performance or optimization or constant progress. Like there needs to be a point where we just like need to like stop and like let us be human almost, because it's just like it's gonna keep optimizing and keep being the most like peak performance of ourselves. And that's like those sci-fi movies always get it like nail on the head, because they're always just like the robots end up being like humans are the problem. They're not like perfect, so basically they need to be like eliminated, because that's what the like technology and that's like what the tools we're making are for. It's like to make things more efficient, and it's to make things more optimized. And it's like humans aren't that. Part of what makes us human is also the fact that like we're flawed. I don't know if that's controversial, but it's just like
No.
It's very true.
Have you seen iRobot?
I
Will
feel
Smith?
like
That's Will Smith.
I
Yeah.
feel like iRobot's coming up so much lately
It's
because
a
of
good movie.
the Tesla
AI.
robots.
But yeah,
Yes.
because they look very
this
similar.
is a whole other
They
thing
do.
But
too, though.
and so the main robot in iRobot was made to be able to like make human emotional decisions. It just, I mean, it wasn't. The robot is good in the end. It like helps and stuff. But it's like our robots currently, it's ones and zeros still.
Yeah.
So,
But the thing is, it's like sometimes I feel like we like where we're at as a society are getting like too obsessed with peak performance and optimization. It's like,
because I think any way you cut it, it benefits you. Because if you want to be the best, it benefits you. If you are lazy ass and don't want to do jack all, it benefits you. Yeah. It benefits like the entire spectrum of like the human weakness.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it just like what do you mean by that? Like
AI is what you're saying.
Yeah, because if I want to be the best, like you've got the overachievers, you've got the people who don't want to do anything. It benefits them both equally almost. Because if I'm overachiever,
like as a tool,
AI is going to help me be better. Like, you know what I mean? But if I'm obsessed with becoming the best, it's going to help me because it's going to eliminate all of my not all my human flaws, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also if I'm on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, I'm still going to want to use AI because I don't want to do anything because I don't care enough. So AI can just do it for me.
I think, it's also interesting, but like also going off of what Jetson was saying, that as humans though, I guess we're looking at like the crazy end of the spectrum of people who want to be top. It's like we are almost allowing ourselves to operate as robots, and we're like forcing ourselves not to be emotional, not to interact. You know what I mean? Like, we're not forcing, but like maybe even
we're holding ourselves to the standard.
Yeah, exactly. Like holding ourselves to a standard that is impossible.
Like it ingrains a status like quo that's just going to become the norm, if that makes sense.
Basically, we're trying to become robots, and robots are trying to become us.
That's it. Bottom line. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Oh my gosh. But it's like, it's just, I had a thought, but it's like almost like what if the people who don't have access to technology, like you just immediately see it's like, oh, they don't know how to they don't have AI to or is everyone going to have access to this? Or is it going to almost like the optimization and perfection of things become a status symbol for people who have technology?
I mean, I feel like it's already moving in that way, no?
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, you look at, not to think that Teslas are like peak whatever, but like, for instance, just as an example, the box truck. Yeah. The box trucks and Tesla cars that are driving themselves. Like, right now I see people with that and I'm like, oh, they are just like, you know.
You're not just some average Joe Schmo.
Exactly.
Well, there's the new robo-taxis that actually don't have a steering wheel in them. So that's what the launch event was. The Tesla was of their new robo-taxi that he says, once again, they said this for the Cybertruck, didn't come true, that it would be sold for $30,000 or under $30,000. Didn't happen. Cybertruck was over double that. And there's no steering wheel.
That's
so it drives itself. Yeah.
Did you guys? I'm like veering off a little bit, but I forgot what the movie is. Julia Roberts. It was like produced by the Obamas.
That new one? Yeah, the Obamas one. Yeah.
Yeah, which I'm so sorry. I'm like, what does Barack Obama know? We're basically talking about how the world's turning against America and it is hopeless.
That was like the tea from that movie. I didn't even see it, but all I heard was
movie?
I forgot what it was called.
I'm gonna fact check.
Yeah. But like I remember seeing stuff about this movie and people being like, "Oh, it's kind of like all these other kind of apocalyptic, scary, dystopian, like us as a society moving into that, whatever." But the fact that the movie was produced by the Obamas, people are like, "Oh, this family that was in power for a season knows things about the government." What are they trying to say?
About the fall of the U.S.
Yeah, like what are they trying to say?
It's quite literally about the world turning on the U.S. Sorry, I just
bonkers.
I searched every Julia Roberts movie. So
yeah,
I'm
there's
like
there's that scene of all the Tesla-like cars.
This is the one I'm thinking
just mindlessly driving and crashing into each other. Yeah.
Oh my, see, crazy. Yeah. But again, it comes back to the whole hackers, right? Like if we're allowing ourselves to be controlled and allowing ourselves to get into a vehicle that doesn't have a steering wheel and we're just trusting this thing to take us places.
Yeah, and we're trusting Tesla to protect that software.
Right.
That no one's going to be able to hack into it.
But like that's not.
Yeah. What if someone hacks into it and just
like they did in the Julia Roberts movie, Leave the World Behind.
Leave the World Behind. Okay. That's what
not
it
a product placement.
No, actually, not I was actually very disappointed as a movie.
What's it?
I was like, this is anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just like another thing that comes to mind is just like, what if like hipsters come up and they're just like, oh, we don't like the hipsters or the artists. Like it's gonna become like art is gonna either need to be unique again, or it's just gonna become very easy to make good art that's very like simple and amusing and digestible. And it's like you think about how this is gonna like affect art. like, because I think about this too. It's just like we're almost gonna like need to crave a bit of like weirdness again, and that goes back to like not standardizing everything. Like, you know, like I don't think everything's supposed to just be like perfectly digestible, perfectly like, oh, I like the way it ended, I like the way it was. Like, because I don't know who I was talking with this about, how like now that like a lot of the movie studios are becoming like part of one big company almost, they're like buying each other out. How like movies are becoming predictable and like kind of bland, and they're like losing their like flavor almost. And like, what is it? Is it A24?
A24.
Like they're making a lot of really popular music, like not music, movies these days, because it's like indie movies. Like it's
they're
like,
one of the few remaining that are like.
It's like, oh, this is weird. Like this actually feels like something new, and it's like
Civil War, California and Texas fighting together.
That was
what
crazy.
is that?
That doesn't make sense.
Again, a crazy movie that I didn't see, but
was that was not made by A24?
That's A24.
Yeah,
Civil War. Yeah.
I thought that was a Marvel movie.
No.
I mean,
okay,
that's a different Marvel movie.
Yes.
Civil War is another Marvel
not
movie.
That one, Courtney.
I'm
off.
I'm gone.
There is Marvel's universe Civil War.
Captain America
Civil
I
War.
was like, I'm pretty
But-
sure 24 didn't make that.
There's Civil War that came out this year. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's also interesting, I think, like talking about. Oh God, I had a thought, and then it.
Okay, I'll say my thought, and maybe.
Yeah, go for it.
But like, this is like, I feel like this is a history repeating itself, just like on a more technological advanced, like playing field, because the artists are historically the ones that are like to usher in revolution usually.
That was
yeah,
literally
and
what I
like
was gonna
drive
say.
culture.
Yeah.
Exactly. So like, maybe we're gonna go back to analog. We're gonna have better analog cameras than we did before. Do you know what I mean?
Because like analog cameras are trendy.
They're trendy, and maybe the technology is gonna help us make better ones.
Right.
Interesting.
But it will have that rawness again. You know what I mean? Of like one shot and you're done. You better hope it turns out sort of.
Like like we all want that kind of thing these days. Like we don't. Like I should hope we don't want everything to be simple and optimized and like you know just like easier.
And just how everyone's even got the same mentality that Instagram's a facade, and that we want authentic. What are people's authentic personalities and all this stuff? People want that.
The thing is, we want that, but I'll still go on Instagram and like mindlessly scroll. So I'm like,
fair.
How?
We need to like almost want like we should want to go deeper more. Like maybe we just like
slow
need to
down, maybe
slow down. Oh my gosh, we need to slow down.
Oh my god.
Because I feel like that's what's keeping us from going deep. I mentioned this on the last podcast. Of like how the things that'll come up when I just stop or like just let things sit. When
you remembered something?
When I stop just receiving new information 24/7. I'm like, wow, I have so much in me already. I have so much to process already. You know, and it's just like maybe we just need a bit less. Like maybe the technology can be good. We just need less of it and like at less all the time. And like
it's interesting. I just feel like this has been such a constant like topic, like an umbrella topic that I've had in conversations with people. If we even look at some of like the reels that we've done for Anchor of the Week, right? Of what's kept you anchored this week. Like Taylor saying how just like being in silence, like allowing myself to learn and like to be, you know, in something or reading a book or, you know what I mean? Or going to an art museum. Like all of this stuff is, I think, coming back to this idea of slowing down and like almost connecting again with my humanity because we're constantly just being, you know, immersed in technology these days that you almost need it now to feel human. But this is what I was going to say earlier when you were talking about the A24 movies and in general just indie movies. I think people are coming close, like wanting more of that. And a lot of the interviews I've seen with actors recently is even major actors who are like, I prefer doing indie films. Like, I would rather do an indie film than a blockbuster or a big, like, what's the word? Like, production studio, right? Like a studio film. Because,
we can't help you.
I know, because, they are just, it's business with them. And it's like, let's get back to the art of what we're doing. Yeah. And I think that spans across a lot of different industries. Yeah.
Who is it? There's Denzel Washington. There was a round table. I saw a clip of him, and I think, I'm not gonna try because I don't know who, and I don't want someone to be like, he's dead. So I have no idea, but it looked like people I know. Yeah. And he was talking about about how it's like a gift to be able to do cinema, and that people asked him, how is it? Is it raw? Was it super intense for you? It was like, no, man, it's just a movie. And this is an art form.
Yeah.
And what we're doing is not like going and serving war or something. It's not intense like that. It's a blessing to be able to do what we're doing, and it's an art form. So, and that's just,
we love Denzel.
yeah, he's great.
Yes.
And yeah, it's just, yeah, that is just an art form.
Yeah.
And now it's just become this business model where we're all getting subscriptions, and you can't share households to view this. Like,
Oh my god.
all this stuff, like, just, it's, where'd the art go, you know?
Yeah.
There's
yeah, exactly.
on a similar thread, there was a video game designer, an indie designer, which is very big in gaming. Indie is very big in gaming. Indie, groups. And someone tweeted, "Oh well, pirating this game because I can't afford, you know." And he responded. The developer responded, was like, "Great, that's how I got all my inspiration for games back in the day.
Yeah.
Was the easy access online and being able to access it." So he's like, he said, culture shouldn't be behind a paywall. So you should be able to, enjoy something.
That might be a quote.
Yeah, for sure.
And so everyone's just like, that's how you get someone to want to buy your stuff.
Yeah.
Is by saying, sure, you like, just go tell your friends about it. Maybe they're going to buy
Right.
it, you know? So.
Yeah.
But no, it's just all about getting the maximum amount of money that we can.
Yeah. And then if we circle that back to the beginning of this conversation, right? Of like, all of this is for money. And I think for me, it feels overwhelming. And that's when I feel helpless, you know, like, why are they buying all like this land in Africa? You know what I mean? So like now communities don't have, like, you know what I mean? Like, it feels so overwhelming. And then my initial thought is to go like, yeah, well, it's, you know, capitalism bringing out the worst in people and like the whole thing, you know?
Like everyone's blanket statement, like.
Yeah, you know, and it's true to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, every system, the human heart is corrupt. So of course, every political economic system that has a human is going to be corrupt. You know what I mean? Like I've come to terms with that. Don't worry. But it's, I think for me, it's like almost like that overwhelming feeling of like, well, then why do I even do anything?
Right.
You know, like whether it is, pirating movies or like my security on my phone, having 2 emails, whatever. Like I think sometimes I struggle to see the value of doing anything little to make a difference. Like you were saying at the beginning, like what's the point?
Right.
Have we all found a point? Like if everyone could like, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Say, well, okay, from this conversation though, like I'm going to take this, or like what the point of this for me is.
Yeah.
Because I think for me, it's a whole idea of like, as I just said, I don't have an idea. Of course I have an idea. It's like, okay, I feel like we're being swept up in a current, but I'm like, I can grab like a branch for a little bit off the side and try to move myself slowly down the current. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like in a river, like that's kind of like the overwhelming feeling I have. But it's like, okay, but there's like tons of sturdy trees around. I could hold on for a second and take a break.
Sure.
So like with the whole thought of like culture being behind a paywall, I think that comes with us thinking culture is all online. And honestly, like I think we need to, like, for me, this is just like the humanity isn't going to like be reflected online because it's always the best parts. You know, it's always just like the things that get the most traction. So it's like you need to like take a step back and like not even like the things I do that I appreciate about myself or like that I'm learning about myself or like even art I've made, like maybe I don't need to always post it online. It's just like I don't know, just like where's the value like right in front of you with the people right in front of you. And like because I think humans, while they're like corrupt, we also have like intrinsic value in us, but I don't think that's going to be reflected online. So we're just going to see like a shadow of like what humans are, and there's like great stuff and you're like, wow, this is very entertaining, but like you don't get to see the like story behind it or the struggle behind it. Or even like when I like with like movies and stuff, when I like listen to actors just talk on a podcast, I'm like, hold on, they're human beings. Like that's so cool. Like they have like stories, and it makes me like the art more. So it's just like, how can we humanize like everything around us? Like, and I think that comes with getting to know people. And it's like, first of all, the people around us, but like even like, because I like this is such an offshoot, but like it's really hard for me to get into sports. But I remember you saying like you always just find someone you like and you'll like invest in their life, and then it like gets you invested in the sports. And I'm like, fair, like that's what gets you invested, is like
just ask my family from the age of probably 7 to now. We've always had a favorite athlete in every sport.
But it's just like you found like a person and you'll like do a deep dive on their life, but that like gets you more invested in like what you're seeing on the screen.
It's an emotional connection
because you can like connect. So I think we need to just like focus, like don't engage so much in the online space without first prioritizing like literal like human connection, like with people and like with yourself. Like take a minute to stop.
Honestly, yeah. I think going off the same line, like that's why, again, because I'm an actor, this is my realm that I look at. But, like that's why I love live theater. And why I love producing live performances and like creating live shows, because, you know, there's always time for documentation, cool, but like I love doing shows that's like you come in and you see it, you witness it, you get to experience it as the performer but also as the audience, and then that's it, you know, like
you can't replay
it, you can't go watch it back. Like that was a moment that you had and you experienced it and it was beautiful, and then that's it. And the thing is, yeah, that show may happen again, but it's never going to be done exactly the same way that it happened that night. So it is almost like I love that like tangible connection between performer and audience in a like live performance setting, from both ends, you know, like I love it. But going back to what you were saying about like things that we took away from this episode, as I think we're kind of rounding it out, but my main thing is I think all of this coming back, how you mentioned how AI it's not intelligent. Like it's literally taking our information and then using that to be quick in interactions and whatever. Because it really made me go, okay, cool. AI is just trying to be us, you know? It's just taking what we give it and then putting it in this, like, I don't know, bubble. I don't know why I'm making that with my hands. But, like, you know what I mean? It's like it's putting it in this thing that's making us go, whoa, that's so cool. But really, it's just coming from us. And it's like humans are forever going to be the creators of what's, you know what I mean? Like, the technology or whatever. Like, I believe, you know, that it's never going to be able to like surpass us because it is what we make it.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway, that's just my personal takeaway. Whether that's true or not, I mean.
Time will tell.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's all just a balance with, you know, so if you look at connecting online and you guys are talking about the necessity of actual connection with people, there are many people now that would say they've met some of their best friends online. And they do have personal interactions, video calls, they message with intention. They don't just use Instagram.
It's true, yeah.
So there are ways to utilize all these cool new technologies or whatever that we're talking about to, heighten that whenever you can. We think back to COVID, you know, we're all video calling and whatever.
Yeah.
So I think there's just a balance in everything. So with... like fashion's a great example. We all used to, none of us, but we all used to have a local cobbler or a tailor that would make our family's clothing. Yeah. And we knew them for generations and they were connected to our families and yada, yada, yada. And now we just all have ASOS or all these companies that just spit us out clothes rapid fire. So there's just, I think, a balance that we need to find in all of this because, going too far and having none of it is not a reality. Yeah. And that's just, taking away from.
Yeah, it's like trying to connect rather than just trying to consume. Yeah. You know.
Use it. Don't let it use you.
Yeah.
Amen.
Dang.
But, coming back to, again, the anchor of the week, what we are, we want to end it now with asking you guys, and we'll answer as well, but what's kept you anchored this week?
Amazon buying a new computer.
It's really kept me anchored.
For me, it's just every time I'd go home and just kind of be done with the day and just, not always use my phone, but just like, with my wife, maybe watch a movie or something, just kind of not being connected to whatever, but just kind of, being in a space that's smaller and kind of, a way to decompress in that sense. So, going home after a day.
That's good. Jetson?
I'm still trying to think. I'm trying to think of what I even did this week.
I know. I'm like, this has been a crazy week. Like,
I mean, I have my answer.
Okay, you go.
Honestly, I had a conversation with my grandpa earlier this week, and it was amazing. And I haven't chatted with him in so long, and like, I cried. I was just like, Grandpa, like, you know what I mean? And I think going off of what you literally just said about being able to have technology and communicate, like he's 86 years old and we were still able to chat across, you know, he's back in the States, back in Lawrence, Kansas, and I'm here in London, but to be able to chat with my 86-year-old grandpa and like see his face and, you know, like have a conversation with him and be able to laugh and, you know, reminisce and all that kind of stuff, like that wouldn't be possible however many years ago when this didn't exist. So I really feel like that conversation specifically has kept me anchored this week. I got a lot of wisdom from him. So, that's mine.
Yeah.
Was that enough time for
No,
you?
yeah, I
Okay.
got it. Because I also had a video call of some sort, like I think it was Wednesday. So like, it was like, I feel like it was a busy day. I was feeling a bit chaotic, but there's like, so I'm involved in missions in London, and there's a church back in Pennsylvania that helps like support me and my wife like financially, but they also like video call us every month. And it's just this like group of older ladies, and like, man, that like, they're usually older. I don't know why.
And they're the best.
And they're the best. But they just like pray for us as a couple. And I just sat at this nearby like pub. It has a backyard like area overlooking a canal, and I just sat there with like my headphones in, and essentially like got prayed for. Like had people investing in my life, and like they've like read a newsletter on like how we're doing, and they've asked like how we're doing, and they were like praying just like really specific things like about my life and like my wife too. And honestly, like things like that, like knowing, again, like that's a way technology can be used in a really cool way. And it's like, I think that's like helped a lot, because I think for me that was also a minute to stop, because like I was just still and just kind of like receiving almost, and like having a cup of coffee and like in the middle of what's usually a work day. So yeah, like I think that was really important and cool.
That is cool.
I think for me, I had a realization. I mean, not a realization, because we all know this, but it just hit me hard the other day that like it's not about me. And this realization happened because I was a bridesmaid in a friend's wedding, and I had no idea how uncomfortable it is to walk down an aisle at not your wedding. Like, I'm like, what? Like, you're not here for me. Like, why is everyone, like, stop looking at me. You know what I mean? As you're like walking down the aisle. You know what I mean? It was just one of those things that just felt very like this isn't about me, you know? And like not in like a self-loathing sort of way, but almost like in a pressure off kind of way.
Like freeing.
It was so freeing, you know? And also freeing just in general, and like other situations that I was like living in and things like that, to be like, actually like, this does not have to affect me, because really at the end of the day, it's not about me.
Yeah.
And it was actually really beautiful to be able to kind of like, in a really good way, be like, I'm actually not, I don't have to insert myself into the center of well, most things in life, to be fair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like, hey, like, it's not about me. I can chill out.
Yeah.
You know, hey, like, yeah, I don't know. That was a nice realization, especially when you get overwhelmed and stressed about things or whatever, to realize like actually like how much of this needs to affect me.
Yeah.
Not much really. If we look at most of our lives, right? Like the things that we get stressed out about and or freaked out about, or that consume us, and like,
facts.
it's not about me.
But yeah, anything else you want to say before we sign off for good? No, shaking of the head.
Well, then in that sense, we'll sign off. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Remember to give us a like, a comment, subscribe, wherever you do that, however you want to. Okay, not to, but my favorite geoguesser, that's the thing. He always says like subscribe, and then he goes, or not, and then the video ends.
Honestly,
like,
yeah.
And I'm like, honestly, I love that. Anyway, before I dig myself into a hole, we're actually going to say goodbye. And we will see you guys real soon on the Anchor of the Week.
See you next time.